Welcome back. It's week 3. We're discussing chapters 10 through 14 this week. And this week we get to meet Grace, one of Diana's cousins, some more of Diana's cousins, and we discover how deep the Mount Holyoke College legacy goes in the Proctor family. So, Mount Holyoke. Why Mount Holyoke? Well, that's where I went to school. My second choice was Bates. That's where I sent Diana. And my friends who also went to Mount Holyoke kept saying to me, but Deb, why didn't you have Diana go to Mount Holyoke? And I said, because if Diana went to Mount Holyoke, she would have gotten herself sorted out as an undergrad and there would be no books. So what we find here among the Proctor women is a very long history going back to the early 19th century of the female members of their family studying with Mary Lyon herself. Incidentally, Mary Lyon has a connection to Ipswich. So for those of you who like rabbit holes, and after that, after Mary Lyon passed away, they still kept going to the seminary in South Hadley, what is now my beloved Mount Holyoke College. So Mount Holyoke is really, really precious to me, and I feel part of an amazing collection of very strong, very smart, very ambitious women that goes all the way back to the early years of the 19th century. Mary Lyon believed in the power of education to change and transform lives. She really believed that education was magic. It's the essence of power. And she wanted women to be able to partake in that tradition because at the time, there was no way. Women could not go to Harvard. They could not go to Yale. They could not go to Bates. They could not go to Bowdoin. If you're a woman and you wanted to get an education, Mount Holyoke is where you went. And Mount Holyoke is doubly special in the Blackbird Oracle because Emily Dickinson, the poet, the Belle of Amherst, attended Mount Holyoke for a time. You're going to discover how important Emily Dickinson becomes to Diana and her magic. That's another little nod to Mount Holyoke. You might find references to various class animals and symbols. My class animal is the Pegasus, go Pegasus. My class color is red. I'm wearing blue today, but oh well. And Mount Holyoke was the place where I think it was actually maybe one of my very first bits of magic. And when I was 13, I saw a picture of the library window at Mount Holyoke and a woman sitting in the window over the entrance. If you're a Mount Holyoke grad, you know exactly where I'm talking about. It was the old smoker above the entrance. And I saw a picture of this young woman sitting in the window with this leaded window behind her. And I thought, that's where I'm going to go to college. I think I was about 12 or 13. Fast forward to when I was 17 and 16 and applying for colleges, went when I was 17. And I applied to Mount Holyoke. I wanted to go to Mount Holyoke so badly. I got into Mount Holyoke, and it was there that I began studying magic and history. I studied archaeology. I studied art history like Phoebe. And that liberal arts education is really part of the very important DNA of all of the All Souls trilogy, also series of books. So that's one of the focuses for this week, is just having the joy and delight of kind of having a tongue-in-cheek introduction to all of the women who went to Mount Holyoke in the Proctor family and getting really clear evidence of why, if Diana had gone to Mount Holyoke, things may have ended up a little bit differently in her life. It's also a set of chapters in which we meet for the very first time the oracle cards that become central to Diana's magical practice. Now, people were asking me all of last year while I was on tour for the hardback, are we going to get an oracle deck? Are we going to get an oracle deck? Are we going to get an oracle deck? There was always an oracle deck. I made it on blank cards. I decoupaged and cut out woodcuts. And they didn't fly, but otherwise they were perfectly aligned with what you learned about the oracle deck in these chapters. I keep mine in a little bag. And so it was always my dream that we would have an oracle deck, and very happily we were able to partner with a division of Random House to bring you that oracle deck. I've seen the finished art. I am editing the last little bits and pieces. It's in such good hands, and we look forward to sharing the details of how to pre-order and what the cards look like as soon as we possibly can. So for those of you who are saying, yeah, but what about the deck? The deck is coming too. It's really informed by all of those studies I did at Mount Holyoke, all the studies of symbolism and lore and magical tradition. They're all woven in to the images in the deck. So this week, cheers to Mount Holyoke, and I'll see you for our 4th week very soon.